Hello, I'm Keith Ford, and welcome to another edition of From the Vault. In the mid-1960s, Colt was looking at bringing another revolver onto the market. They had had really good commercial success with their Python, but it was pretty expensive. So they were looking at something that was kind of along the lines of the Python, but maybe a little smaller and a little less hand polished like the Python was. And what they started producing in 1966 was the Colt Diamondback. Now, the Diamondback is based on the D frame, the Detective Special, while the Python is on the I frame. It's quite a bit larger frame. But the Diamondback, unlike the Python, was chambered in 38 Special and 22 long rifle. You could get in a 2.5-inch barrel, a 4-inch, and a 6-inch. Now, the main differences between the Python and the Diamondback was, number one, the finish. The Python was finished by the most qualified polishers at Colt. Those guys had years of experience, and for you to work on the Python, you had to have been there a long time, whether it was the finishers, the polishers, the fitters. I mean, you were the top of the class at Colt whenever you was working on those. Diamondback was just not nicely as finished on the outside. It still looked really good, but it didn't have that lustrous blue, Colt Royal blue finish that the Python had. Internals were not finally as fitted as the Python. Over here, we'll check, make sure that it's empty. Nothing in the chamber, nothing in the cylinder. Now, if you look at the hammer on the Diamondback, this has a fixed firing pin. Now, on the Python, the firing pin was frame mounted, so there's another difference right there. So whenever somebody says that the Diamondback is just a downsized Python, it's really not correct. It's a completely different gun, but still really cool. Now, these were made from 1966 to 1988, and Colt just phased them out, which was really sad. But rumor is, starting next year, Colt's going to bring the Diamondback into production again as a stainless steel model to go along with their current snake guns that they're manufacturing now, and that'll be really cool. Now, one thing about the Diamondback, there was supposedly a 22 Magnum version done, and there's maybe 19 that were marked that way, up to possibly 300. There's not an accurate accounting of that because the gun never really was produced at Colt. What happened, they were playing around with some barrels and had marked on 22 Magnum, but Diamondback was never a full production Magnum gun, and the cylinders that are with the barrels that are marked 22 Magnum, they're just regular 22 long rifle. Now, I know a guy that has one of the Magnum marked barrels and also has a 22 Magnum Python, which was one of the only ones ever made. But the Diamondback just never made it into the Magnum version. But still, super, super cool guns. This one right here is a 1972 model, unfired. I mean, pristine, and they'll probably stay that way because I'll just wait till the new Diamondback comes and get one of them and start blasting with it. But I still enjoy this gun, having it, and looking at it, and checking out the history of it. Now, if you've got any questions or comments, be sure and drop us a line, and while you're at it, smash that like and subscribe button like you mean it. Thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in again whenever we bring another gun from the vault.